from the historical point, I understand where you're coming from. I've been up under that bridge for 20 years and I see what kind of deterioration's going on under there. It's an old bridge, it's been hit a lot. One thing, have you thought about doing, since it's affecting Scottsboro and Jackson County residents mainly, have you thought about doing some type of a mail-out survey to see if the residents of Scottsboro and Jackson County would like to see the bridge saved?
Well, there's already a petition out there with 3,000 names on it.
3,000 out of 54,000.
Well, that was done very quickly when there wasn't much of a vision out there. That was 3,000 of your people that were ready to get on board without knowing that it could happen. I think as we go forward and explain what's going on with the bridge, and you know, we did do an inspection of your bridge below and on top, and there really isn't as much issue. We saw one pier that there was a crack in, but they didn't seem to think that that was structural. And the truss itself is in great shape. It has a very thin layer of paint on it. Again, Ron Barger at HR, thinks we can just clean and paint rather than trying to get it down to metal and get back up with the fancy paint systems, which will save a lot of money over time, and that's what Outlet's been doing. So it isn't a rusty bucket of bolts, not by any means. It's still a strong bridge. When the engineers use terms like structurally deficient, you think the whole thing's going to fall down any minute, or fracture critical. Those terms really just mean that if a part breaks, it might fall down. Structurally deficient means for this bridge that it's just too narrow, and with the height restrictions, it can't handle that kind of traffic anymore. It's not that it can't handle traffic.
Well, that's another thing. You have your barges and your boats that go under it, and the height of the bridge has been an issue. I've seen some of the river boats trying to get under it and had to lower the smokestacks and just barely made it under it then.
And that's good. The Coast Guard did not have an issue with this bridge being an elision, that's what they call it, elision, when it's hitting the water. They've had 5 instances since the 90s, and they really didn't think that that was a problem for us. And that's who we started with. If the Coast Guard had said nope, we would have stopped right then, but they didn't. What he said was, there's no restaurant on any bridge in the U.S., there's one in Prague. So, you would be the first. But it is in good shape, it really is. It does? Have you been there? Oh, cool. But they're the ones that have a restaurant on a bridge.
Well, that's another thing. That area out there has been there forever. And I haven't seen anybody just jumping to go out there as is before this issue came up about saving the bridge, to put a restaurant out there to,
Well, you know, and that's fine,
It's
but
been
why
there.
would you? There was no,
well, you've got the view. And
Yeah, I don't-
the view, the bridge has been there.
there was, Mr. John Cooper wanted to do a development with a marina there, and it was not acceptable to the water board, so.
That's
I
another
believe
thing.
you'll find it was not acceptable because Scottsboro's intake of water comes there.
Isn't that correct,
And they
Mr.
were
Light?
concerned about voters dumping sewage and other issues.
The area there. Mr. Light could address
Yeah, no,
that.
it's
We were here,
more
we
than me.
went through all that.
Yeah, we
And obviously,
did.
you're gonna have the same problem.
Oh, well, no, actually, we're not, because our planning is such that underground tank storage will take care of the runoff from the restaurant, and we are not planning on boats or any of that kind of traffic there. I've discussed with Mr. Light extensively what we can do on that side without affecting the water board. I asked him if we could put a dock there, he said no. But I did ask him if we could have a security dock where the construction dock is currently, because we will need some way to get on the water there. But I think we've been very,
We've met several times, and without any definitive plans, it's hard to judge, but our interest has been protecting that intake, so we'd be very interested as things develop, exactly how it's going to be used, what structure might be built out there.
and we're also offering the water board a way to put a pipeline system or redundant water system across our part of the bridge. They were unable to do that with the new spans, but we do believe that that could be possible if they were to choose to put money into that in the future.
Just like top of the river, is being able to go to eat in your boat. And there is so much boating around here that, that would be one area of revenue that we wouldn't want to shut out.
Well, it just can't happen there, but what we have done is try to get the boat parking on the other side. You know, I see those guys on bicycles hauling people across if they don't want to walk. But really, on the section side is where we put all that traffic, given that the water board interests are there and they don't want boats pulling up there. So, and top of the river doesn't want to come here anyway, so.
I have to admit, this is not your first rodeo. You got all the answers, I understand.
Do I look worn out to you, sir? I bought a new shirt here in town. I flew down here from Minneapolis with no clothing because I couldn't get back to Iowa with the weather. Be forced to fly out of there. So,
Again, unclaimed baggage, just in.
I know, but it was closed yesterday. I was like, oh no, what do I do? And
Anyone else have anything from Mr. Bowers?
I've got one question. I know bridges are graded, 1 to 100 on structure soundness. Do you happen to know what our bridge is graded at?
I do not know. I don't have that latest inspection, but it's rated for traffic. And they haven't let it go. I mean, they, you know, there really is nothing wrong. I had my structural engineer and my iron steel worker the last time we were here, and we looked at it all pretty carefully. They just didn't, there's a lot of little dings and stuff, but it will be quite pretty when it's finished. I just, you know, how do we go forward? Do I set another meeting with you in the next few weeks? Do I work with a committee of your people that might want to work with I don't know if Matthew Hodges is here tonight. He suggested that he might be this morning. I have a meeting set up with Senator McGill for next week while he's in Montgomery. I plan to speak to the governor when I'm at this conference next week. He's the keynote speaker. He's not going to get away from me. And I think that, you know, do you want me, I guess that's the question. Do you want me to work with the city here? Does the city want to work with the Comer Bridge Foundation and the county to try to see if you can't make something beautiful out of this span? Or do you want me to go to Montgomery and say NSRGA, it wants to do this?
Probably the best route would to go through the mayor after you meet with Aldott, and then what he'll do is he'll get with us.
Okay. Well, I met with Aldott today. We're waiting for some answers from Federal Highway in terms of just how much money they will let us have.
And I think that, in some of that, we have a broad range of numbers, and there's gonna have to be some steadfast numbers.
Yes, absolutely. But we can't get there until,
But that's the reason why I'm saying the window of opportunity on the bridge is closing right
It
quickly.
is. it is. We need to come up
I have
with
to
an agreement.
get some numbers.
And I have numbers. I mean, I'm pretty close to $1 million in getting that bridge open to the other side of the trust part, not the far side.
But that to answer your question,
Yes.
go
So
through
I
the mayor.
will speak with the mayor and we'll figure out, but can I just pan you for your impressions, just so these people might know where you stand? Is that allowed at a work session? No? Nobody has an opinion? Good, bad, likes, no? Do you like your bridge? Or is it just a liability?
May I say one more thing? I was with the police department, the police chief for 100 years, I was there forever. I've been on that bridge in the middle of the night, I've been in the middle of the day, car wrecks, and I've seen 2 or 3 tractor trailers come across it while we were working a wreck, and it was shaped so badly that you couldn't wait to get that wreck done and get off of it. I mean, it would sway.
They're meant to move.
I meant to move, but with age, so are old people. When moving, sometimes a break.
Well, you know, it was a fairly narrow bridge, and I can understand.
And that's my own personal experience. I don't know if it is in as good a shape as being portrayed. I worry about that because I've been on it.
Well, my engineers they would have told me, I don't want a bridge that's gonna fall down, I don't need that liability. And that's why I brought my engineer here and we were under the bridge, we were on top of the bridge, they closed it off so that we could walk it safely. So I want to assure you
The
that,
liability would be enormous.
well, you know, liability insurance is liability insurance, but for me, it's $56 an acre right now. So, and that is one of the things that I plan to head to Baltimore in the next 3 weeks in order to speak to the National Trust for Historic Preservation Insurance Company. And they know that they need to get behind the bridge program because of the restrictions put on by the grant process for many reasons. And so we're working on them too. It's my job to know.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if anybody wants to look at my baby Mac, you're welcome to.
Thank you.
We'll go to reports. Mr. Smith, anything?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Perry?
Just thank you all for being here tonight.
Mr. Miller? I don't have anything. Gary?
Yes, I do. I've got something. This Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock at the First United Methodist Church, the Boy Scouts of America, Troop 18, is celebrating their 100th anniversary, or 100-year celebration. There has been a Boy Scout troop 18 years, for 100 years now, and we got a guest speaker. His name is Luke Boykin. He's a retired Air Force colonel, and he was the first Eagle Scout in this troop. But I just wanted to announce that, and hopefully some of you can attend. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight as well. What I wanted to cover was the Chili Challenge on February 22nd for the Habitat for Humanity. I think it's from 11 to 2, so hope to see everybody out there. I'm actually cooking some chili. Hopefully I won't get sick.
You don't pay us to get your
I'm actually representing the Bronx Club.
Oh, gosh.
I want to thank y'all for coming